Namaste to all students. Myself, JV and Dr. Khushbu Verma from Faculty of Agriculture and Veterinary Science. Today we are going to discuss about cDNA library synthesis part 2. This session is related to recombinant DNA technology course of program BTech FBT 4th. So, in the previous session, we have discussed about that how cDNA synthesis occurs, and first of all, how cDNA strand can be synthesized, how messenger RNA strand, which is basically used as a for a template for the first strand synthesis, and how it can be degraded by the enzymes RNase H, and how second cDNA strand further synthesized. So all these three steps have been discussed in our previous session. In this session, we will discuss about the different kind of primers which can be used in the synthesis of the cDNA first strand and the second strand. Um, in this session, first of all, we are going to discuss about the oligo-DT primer, which is oligo-DT primer adapter or oligo-DT primer linker. For first cDNA strand synthesis, oligonucleotides such as oligo-DT primer adapter may be employed. These primers consist of oligo-DT appendant at their 5' end with overhanging sequences that will support the addition of restriction enzymes sites or useful sequences on one end. The purpose of such primer adapter is directional cloning of double-stranded cDNA. Hence, first cDNA strand synthesis is done in combination with second strand synthesis with a similar primer adapter having different restriction enzyme site. Oligo-DT primer linker work on the same principle for directional cloning. Next one is the asymmetrically tailed plasmid, which is oligomerically tailed plasmid. Synthesis of first strand is also primed from an oligo-DT tail conventionally attached to one end of the linearized plasmid, and this strategy allow direct and efficient cloning of cDNA into the vector. Being large in size, it is often not possible to incorporate enough oligomerically tailed plasmid in the reaction mixture to achieve a high primer template ratio. Next one point is basically primers used for the second cDNA strand synthesis in the order to obtain a molecule that is stable and can be manipulated and cloned into a vector. The messenger RNA in the single-stranded cDNA messenger RNA hybrid needs to be replaced with a cDNA strand of the same sequence. This second cDNA strand synthesis is conventionally carried out by E. coli DNA polymerase 1, which is known as Conbug enzyme, Cleanow enzyme, reverse transcriptase enzyme, or T4 DNA polymerase enzyme. Thermostable DNA polymerases such as TTH and TAC DNA polymerase can also be used, and albeit rarely can be used. What is the role of self-priming in the cDNA synthesis? So this strategy takes advantages of the tendency of the reverse transcriptase to form a hairpin loop during the first cDNA strand synthesis, which is used as a primer for second cDNA strand synthesis. This hairpin is formed due to spontaneous intramolecular base pairing during reverse transcriptase reaction. This technique is advantageous because a single primer that is used for first cDNA strand synthesis is used to synthesize the second cDNA strand as well. This method leads to higher yield of the double-stranded cDNA. For cloning double-stranded cDNA into a suitable vector, hairpin loop is removed in a reaction catalyzed by S1 nuclease. As it is an uncontrolled reaction, there may be a frequent loss of cDNA sequences corresponding to the 5' end of the messenger RNA. RNA fragments basically generated by the RNase H treatment. As I have told you that in the previous session, that is a messenger RNA degradation need to be happen in the cDNA synthesis for the basically second strand cDNA synthesis. This is called replacement synthesis because our messenger RNA will be replaced by the second strand of the cDNA. So this RNA fragment or RNA degradation will be generated by the RNase H treatment. How it is happen? So RNase H basically recognize a single stranded cDNA and messenger RNA hybrid and makes many nicks or gaps in the RNA strand. Many RNA fragments thus created along the length of the first cDNA strand provides free 3OH group to be used as a primer for the extension by polymerase. The reaction has three main advantages. First one is the priming is very efficient. Second is such priming does not need any further treatment or purification and can be carried out by directly using the products of the first cDNA strand synthesis reaction. Third one is it eliminates the need of use S1 nuclease and hence is free from disadvantage such as loss of the cDNA sequences that results from S1 nuclease treatment. Next one is the oligonucleotide priming, and in this method homopolymeric tail is added to the third dash end of the newly synthesized first cDNA strand. This tailing is done by exploiting the activity of the terminal deoxynucleotide transferase, which is TDT, a template independent DNA polymerase from calf thymus in the presence of only single type of NTPs, DNTPs. Take the example addition of oligo DC tail by the TDT in the presence of DCTPs. This oligo DC tail then act as an annealing site for a chemically synthesized complementary oligonucleotide priming, which is oligo DG. Next one is the oligonucleotide linker priming. In this method, once first strand is synthesized using oligo-DT primer adapter, a homopolymeric tail is added to its third dash end in a TDT catalyzed reaction in the presence of DCTP. First cDNA strand synthesis oligo-DT annuls to poly-A tail end. The adapter provides a recognition site for a restriction endonuclease. This oligo-DC tails provides complementary sequences for annealing of oligonucleotide primer. The messenger RNA strand in a single-stranded cDNA messenger RNA hybrid formed after first cDNA strand synthesis is subjected to alkali hydrolysis or denaturation. Next one is the random priming. Similar to the first cDNA strand synthesis by random primers, second cDNA strand synthesis by clean-out enzyme can also be primed by random primers. Random priming of the second cDNA strand is done after alkali digestion of the RNA in single-stranded cDNA messenger RNA hybrid. Random priming prevents third dash or 5' bias in the resulting library. But with this method, full length cDNA is hardly obtained. So this is the limitation of the random priming used in the second strand cDNA synthesis, and we can understand it by diagrammatic representation. Here is the diagram. This is the poly A RNA and oligo DT primers will become and oligo DT primer anal only poly A tail region. First strand synthesis by the reverse transcriptase and 4 antipase will be used. So this is how first cDNA synthesize and will create the full length single stranded cDNA messenger RNA hybrid. Here it can be partial length cDNA and messenger RNA hybrid can be created. Further, denature it can be denatured by the boiling or hydrolyzed by the alkali enzyme. So this is how it will be created. And this is the hairpin loop as a actor act as a primer. Now second strand synthesis by the clean-out fragment or DNA polymerase 1 by using 4 DNTPs. So this is how full length double stranded cDNA will be occurred. On the other hand, this is partial length of the double stranded cDNA will be occur. And further, it will be digested with S1 nucleases. And that's how complete blunt and double stranded cDNA will be occurred. On the other hand, this is incomplete blunt ended double stranded cDNA will be synthesized. This is self-priming classical method of the double-stranded DNA synthesis. What are the enrichment methods for the synthesis of the cDNA? So the library is expected to contain single cDNA for abundant messenger RNA such as general housekeeping genes, and for those genes whose expression is specific to that particular tissue. If cDNA encoding a specific protein is needed, it is wise to use a cDNA library from a tissue with a high quantity of the RNA for that protein relative to other RNAs. For example, in the chicken oviduct, messenger RNA encoding oval ova albumin is super abundant. Hence, the starting population is naturally so enriched in ova albumin messenger RNA. Next one is the construction of the eukaryotic cDNA libraries in expression vectors. Eukaryotic cDNA that encodes functional protein is cloned in particular type of the expression vector. Most eukaryotic expression vectors are shuttle vectors that contains promoter, two origins of the replication, eukaryotic transcriptional and translation stop signals, a sequence that enables polyadenylation of the messenger RNA, two selectable marker genes, one for E. coli and other for eukaryotic host cell. Next one is the cDNA libraries generated by the RT-PCR. RT-PCR can be used to provide the cDNA for library construction when the source of messenger RNA is unsuitable. For example, very small amount for conventional approaches. In this technique, instead of gene-specific primers, universal primers can be used. So this is the sum up of this session. And this session is powered by Digital Version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University Jaipur. If you have any query, then mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. And if you want to know that what are the key points of this session, so this session is basically having some important key points related to the competitive exam, like what is the self priming, and what is the self priming method of the classical point of the double standard cDNA synthesis, and what is a random priming, and what is the limitation of the random priming, and what is oligonucleotide linker priming, and what is oligonucleotide priming, and what is the basic difference in between the oligonucleotide and oligonucleotide linker priming, what is the basic difference in between these two types. One more thing, like how RNase H basically do the replacement synthesis and how they degrade the RNA fragments. So this is the key point of this session, and if you have any query, then mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you.